Well, a record number of Americans voted early, of course, this year. More than 100 million, in fact, 65 million of them by mail. Many states only started counting mail-in ballots today. Mail-in ballots generally favour Democrats, as Doug was saying earlier, and President Trump has been warning for months about the dangers of widespread fraud. Well, I'm joined here on set now by Thomson from the France 24's Observers programme. I mean, Derek, this has led to some fake news online, perhaps not surprisingly. I mean, what exactly has the president been saying, Derek?
Well, he's been talking about it for at least 9 months now. Back in April, he sent out a tweet saying mail-in ballots substantially increase the risk of crime and voter fraud, with an exclamation point, as always. That was just one of the early tweets. He sent out dozens of tweets after that, warning in general that mail-in ballots can lead to fraud, suggesting that there will be widespread fraud tonight. And he's warned that it would lead to what he called a rigged election. Now, there's no evidence for that. Historically and statistically, voter fraud is extremely rare in the United States. That's what all the experts say. That's what all the historical studies show. But it seems that his rhetoric has caused some people to be sharing some fake news online. And we can take a look at a couple of instances of that.
Shocking. More than 1,000 mail-in ballots found in a dumpster in California. Boy, oh boy, they're finding thrown away Trump ballots everywhere now. California, Texas and Pennsylvania.
Tweets claiming to show discarded mail-in ballots in the US weeks before the presidential election. They're among the messages going around on social networks warning of the possibility of widespread vote fraud on Election Day. Both of these tweets are false. Authorities in Sonoma County, California immediately pointed out that the first photo was of old empty envelopes from the November 2018 election that were disposed of as allowed by law. And the boxes discarded by the roadside, they were abandoned by a mailman in New Jersey also in 2018. Nothing to do with the 2020 election or any other. Now, Twitter took down both of these tweets, but it was too late. They had already been retweeted thousands of times, and the photos were still online weeks later. With record numbers of Americans expected to vote by mail this year, this kind of message has been fueling warnings of widespread ballot fraud. President Trump himself referred to thousands of ballots dumped in dumpsters at one of his town hall meetings. Now, there have been cases of mail-in ballots being dumped this election. 9 of them were found in a trash can in Pennsylvania in September, and 112 in a dumpster in Kentucky in October. Both of those cases are being investigated. So, do these two photos show evidence of election fraud? No, they don't. They were taken back in 2018. While there have been isolated incidents of ballots going missing this year, experts say there's no evidence of preparations underway for widespread ballot fraud.
Derek Thomson there, and Derek's still with us in the studio. Do you think this kind of fake news then, Derek, has actually had an effect?
I think it has. We haven't seen many instances of outright fake news like that, of photos being taken completely out of context. But experts we spoke to said that the constant barrage of criticism of mail-in ballots that comes from the White House and from President Trump supporters could erode Americans' trust in the process. Just last week, Trump was still sending out tweets. Big problems and discrepancies with mail-in ballots all over the USA. We must have a final total on November 3rd. So that's something that he will be pushing for. Now, that is because mail-in ballots, as he knows, as we know, they tend to favor Democrats. Many more Democrats have been voting by mail this year than more than Republicans. And the other thing about mail-in ballots is that it takes a long time to count them. As Flo Villamino was telling us in Pennsylvania, it has to be either by machine or by untrained people. They have to match signatures, and that should be a very time-consuming process because it takes experts hours to match 2 signatures. Now it's being done by machines, or it's being done by people with little training. So it's going to take them a long time to process those votes. And then the key thing is that they will be able to be challenged afterwards. Lawyers on both sides have lawyers standing by, hundreds, if not thousands of them, who are going to be challenging votes in every jurisdiction in the swing states. So it could take a very, very long time.
Derek, thank you very much. Derek Thomson of our Observers programme, crucial programme here on France 24.